Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Jigsaw. We all have a part to play.
Directed by the Spierig Brothers, starring Tobin Bell, Matt Passmore, Callum Keith Rennie, and Laura Vandervoort. In the 8th installment of the Saw franchise, Jigsaw's games begin again 10 years after his death. A group of people are put into a series of traps where they have to fight for their lives as detectives try and solve the mystery before it's too late. So what do we like? I like that we had another Saw movie because it's been 7 years since the Saw franchise was in theaters, and I love going to the theater and watching this kind of movie because everybody is very vocal when it comes to Saw movies. Everybody is feeling some kind of pain, and so hearing the little screams all over the theater is fantastic.
Yeah, this used to be like one of my favorite things to do every October. Right? You would have a Saw movie to look forward to. Who knows? Maybe the tradition will continue, but I'm glad that it's back. And even though the time apart, it actually felt like they were going back and making it how Saw originally started. I like that we had a really interesting story and some really cool traps. Now, we're not going to spoil anything, but the overall story, I really appreciated because I didn't know how they were going to tie it in with John Kramer, because when they left us off, there were a few unanswered questions as to who his legacy was going to be. I was really interested to see how they're going to play this story out, and I like how they executed it. It had a really good twist to it, and that's something we've come to expect with this franchise. And I think when people do go out and watch it, there's plenty of red herrings to make you wonder what actually is going to happen.
I really enjoyed the red herrings. We have all these people that you think might be continuing Jigsaw's legacy, and all of the characters, had their mystique about them. Both playing the game, the detectives, the people doing autopsies, just everybody in the movie. Your mind's gonna be running thinking like, oh, maybe they could have done it, or maybe they did it. And that's what I like about the Saw franchise, and so the characters in this one definitely felt like they belonged. I really like the cinematography in this movie because it did not rely on the crazy edits that we've seen in past films. There are no crazy jump cuts and flashes and all that stuff. Even though there are flashbacks, there's no glitch effects or anything. And all of the shot choices that they used were great. Like, every scene seemed interesting. Like, there was something going on that's gonna keep your attention.
I really liked that they went with more reaction shots than anything, because a lot of the times they're cutting to Ryan's character and it's giving you that sense of comic relief, but you're feeling that tension that the characters need to solve this puzzle if they want to survive. Which brings me to the traps, because we get some new traps and then we have an archive of all of John Kramer's previous traps. So it's kind of cool where you can see this evolution of where the traps have gone, and it's interesting to see what new ones we have.
Now, what didn't we like? I unfortunately did not like the traps. I thought they were a little bit too boring and didn't deliver the gore that we would now expect from the Saw franchise. I can appreciate like the setup for some of the puzzles and stuff, but the end result that people are going to a Saw film expecting isn't there. There's not a ton of blood in this movie. It cuts away, like John said, to reaction shots. I wanted to see more gore, and I think that a lot of people are gonna be upset with that. There are a couple scenes that are gonna make you cringe, but for the most part, I felt let down.
From where we are now and from where it was, it just didn't have the same impact. It gave you a different impact, which I appreciate, but like Jay said, majority of the audience is not going to like the fact that we're not seeing someone get a limb ripped off and blood just splat on the screen.
Like John mentioned, we come to expect twists in the Saw movies, and unfortunately, I kind of knew what the twist was gonna be, and I think a lot of people will guess it, and it's not that crazy. Like, we've seen like the story of Jigsaw evolve over time. There's so many different ways that you can go with a twist, and I think this was just really subpar. The reveal at the end, I don't think many people are going to care about.
It's nothing original. That's the problem, is they're retelling something that they've already done with a different story.
Another reason why I didn't love this one was because of the pacing. It is really fast paced, and I think that's its downfall from the beginning, because we start a game that has 5 people involved, and it's really cut down to 3 within the first 20 minutes of the movie. So you really kind of know what the body count's going to be very quickly, and that kind of sucks because you expect cool traps, but the first 2 aren't anything special, and so then you're left with with 3 and you're just like, oh, there's only gonna be 3 more traps in the movie? That's kind of lame. And so a big focus of this was on the detectives, and that's cool, but I think they should have let the people live a lot longer who were playing the game.
We want to see who is playing the game and why they're playing the game and how they're going to get out of it. The shift was taken in a different direction, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's not what people would probably want to expect and hope for.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Well, I don't think Jigsaw is necessarily a bad movie. I don't think it's that great either. We do have a lot of elements that fans of the series are going to enjoy, but we're also lacking a lot of other elements that people would enjoy, specifically when it comes to the traps and the kills. We do have a couple twists, but fans of the series are probably going to know what happens. People new to the franchise might see this a lot more differently than, say, me and John did. This is probably the best shot film, and I did like the characters, but in general, it just seemed fairly bland to me, so I'm gonna give this 2.5 bucket heads out of 5.
I feel that Jigsaw is going to be divided into 2 types of audience. Because of such a hiatus between part 7 and part 8, you're going to get a new perspective from new people who have never seen the film, and they're going to get a strong appreciation for it. But the people who have seen 1 through 7 are going to appreciate it, but they're not going to be as satisfied as they hoped. I did like this story, but it isn't something new and fresh that we haven't seen before. I did like our characters, and I did like how they tied everything in together, but the film really does lack in too many obvious red herrings. I still think people should go check this out because it was an enjoyable film. So with that being said, I'm going to give this film 3.5 creepy billies out of 5.
No, it's not creepy at all.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, it is in theaters right now, so go check it out. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond, and make sure you watch our reviews of the rest of the franchise.